Hello, my friend, and welcome back. Today, I'd like to chat about embodying spirituality in every aspect of your life because I can definitely speak from personal experience that when you start on your awakening journey and at any point, it is really easy to, you know, consume the content, watch the videos, read the books, do the meditation. It is really easy to do all of that, but then to kind of forget it when you're moving through other parts of your day or when you're not actively, consuming and really in the spirituality. And I feel as though that is the whole point of spirituality, is to carry it through every aspect of your life, every moment of your life, every time you are doing anything. Spirituality has a place. Remembering the truth has a place. Being one with the divine has a place. And it is really important to remember that and to carry that through your day. And, for example, I work a 9 to 5. So when I am at work, it is very easy for me to put aside things and to kind of get wrapped up in the energy that is at work, as opposed to remembering my energetic boundaries, being only in my energy, being able to observe others' energies or the energy of a work or a job, place, building, anything like that, and then moving through my day from that place. And that has been something that I have been kind of trying to consciously bring into my day. And I get a lot of reminders, which I love and which is so nice. The synchronicities, the repeating numbers are things that I see pretty much all day long on and off. And I really love those reminders because, my job serves me right now. And when you start to awaken and then you realize you have a higher calling, sometimes it is very easy to be like, well, let me cut out anything from this 3D world. I'm living only in 5D, and this job doesn't have a place, this doesn't have a place, this doesn't, and it's really easy to want to go and kind of take that axe to a bunch of different things. However, we are here in this specific incarnation, this life, because when I first started to awaken and I was learning about law of attraction and everything, and I was like, well, I just want to attract endless money, don't we all? And that would be wonderful. But then I started to learn that is not exactly my path. I do believe that I know I live a very abundant and opulent life, and that is the life for me. However, just maybe being handed, endless money is not exactly the journey that you're supposed to be on, because, we're here to learn, we're here to grow, we're here to evolve, and we're here to create. So if you were to have gotten, let's say that endless sum of money, you maybe wouldn't be forced and squeezed and pushed to evolve the way that you are supposed to evolve in this life. And we really need to keep that in mind. So with keeping that in mind, let's go back to my job. My job serves me right now. It serves me in a multitude of different ways. And it serves me on my spiritual journey, and it serves me making these videos. If I didn't have to be up at a certain time and at work at a certain time, and my day was kind of just up to me, would I be as regimented making these videos? And yes, like I just started a couple months ago. However, I make them every day. And part of being able to make them every day is that 5 days a week I have somewhere to be, but this is my priority because this is my calling and this is how I'm choosing to serve humanity. And having that priority, making it a priority, and doing it before I go to my regular job puts a routine in place and makes me be regimented in a way that serves me, and honestly that serves you too. Like, who knows, maybe I wouldn't be able to make them every day. Maybe I would want to do just a weekly video, or not as much, but putting this first and making it a priority and then doing my other things also does help me to bring my spirituality into every aspect of my life. I remember it when I'm speaking with a difficult client. I remember it, when someone is being nasty or gossipy in a way that I don't want to partake in, or if I see, a multitude of different things. And it really helps to remember throughout my day, or even driving to work. I have a long commute, when someone's riding my tail or cutting me off or something like that, I am able to remember that we're all on our own journey. I remember that most people function from their thinking minds and not from their hearts. And that, society is really putting a pressure on us to go, go, go and get there faster, get more done, do this, do that. And like that's where a lot of people are living from. And I just have that compassion for them because I know that I used to live like that too. That used to be me. I took a meditation course, and the instructor really had a beautiful way of putting it when you are disagreeing with someone on any level, where you're disagreeing with what they did, you're actively disagreeing with them, or you think that they should be doing something different, or they did something and you're like, ugh, like really wanting to judge or condemn them. He says that he always reminds himself that they are just like me. And he says that, just like me. And I remember that when I am, disagreeing with someone. Let's just put it that way, when I am feeling like, oh, they're being nasty, or why are they being so crazy, or why are they doing this? I just have to remember and come back to my oneness, that there is no separateness, and they are just like me. I have acted like that. If you take with the exception of extreme things, like yes, most people haven't murdered someone, but if you take most actions that people do, that aren't extreme, I'm sure there's a time in your life, and there's a time in my life, that I have acted the same. So we are no different. Spirituality, don't let your ego get in the way of your spirituality, where you start to think that because you are an awakened person that you are any better than anyone else. There's no one above you and there's no one below you, but you are not above anyone else, and you are definitely not below anyone else. We are not separate, and we need to bring that connectedness, that connected way of living into every aspect of our life. And we cannot forget it, because that is the true lesson of spirituality. Like, yes, you can be a spiritual person when you're talking about it, or when you're watching the videos, or, you're reflecting on the books, and but like, you have to be this is not a word like intentful, but you have to have the intent to bring it into every single aspect, every single interaction that you have, and every part of your life. Because we really truly need to embody it, because the bulk of our vibration comes from when we are not paying attention to it. So, you could be having your dance party and you're like, oh, my vibe is so high. Yes, your vibe is very high in that moment. But when you are moving through the rest of your day, the rest of your life, you are also giving out a vibration during those times. And when you are giving off a vibration and you're not aware of it, I feel like sometimes that vibration is even more powerful, because that's why you could be, doing all the spiritual things and not exactly feeling the spiritual life. And that is because you're not carrying it through the rest of your day. And we do need to implement it into our subconscious so we just naturally act from that place. And how we do that is through repetition. We talked about repetition in the form of distractions, but repetition can work for us. We need to start looking about not just how things are so bad and working against us. We need to look how we can make things work for us. So you can take that idea, that almost brainwashing idea of repetition being the way to implement things on your subconscious. It can work for the dark, but it can also work for the light. So affirmations, always coming back to your connectedness, taking that mindful moment to breathe, taking that moment to drop back into your heart and say, okay, before I react here, let me stop, because I want to respond in the way I want to respond. I want to respond from my heart. I want to respond from my soul and not from my mind. So I am in a body right now. Let me take a minute. Let me take a few breaths. Let me calm down, and then let me respond. And it is okay to take those moments. It is okay to take those moments when you are in a direct interaction with someone, because you may say like, well, someone's speaking to me and they're saying this directly and I'm pissed and I'm gonna respond, because I would look like a Looney Tune if I stopped and took a couple breaths. No, I mean, maybe, but if you are speaking to someone directly and you feel like you're about to react in a way that you don't want to respond, and you just say, give me 1 second. Or you don't even have to say anything. You just stop. Just don't say anything and just take a couple deep breaths. And then respond the way you want to respond. Isn't seeming a little strange for taking a couple deep breaths, which shouldn't be strange at all. But let's say, someone thinks it's like a little weird because you're pausing, you're like, isn't them thinking it's a little weird better than reacting in a way that you will regret later, or just a way that you didn't want to react or respond? Isn't that much better? Because what we also need to work on as spiritual people is letting go of what other people think. If someone thinks you're weird in that moment, that is none of your business. And most likely, they're not even going to say it. So it is only your judgment, it is only your perception that you would think that they would think that is strange. And don't wonder what people think. Don't worry about it at all. Because they are not on your journey. They are not the ones that are going to think about it later and feel bad about it later and have that cringe moment about how you reacted later. They're not. You are. That is part of staying in your lane and worrying about yourself. Don't worry about what other people are thinking. It's none of your business. So that is how, through that repetition of being able to stop, reminding yourself, your affirmations, having those little moments of joy when you can squeeze them in, whether that be looking at a flower, smelling the fresh air, whatever you can do. All those things, when you start to chunk them down into your day, that is how we are able to bring that spirituality easily and with grace throughout our entire day. And that is the goal, my friends. The goal is not to, yes, but meditation has benefits that we aren't super conscious about, but it's not just about taking that 10, 15, 20 minutes during the day and then just turning it off and forgetting it and then just going back to it the next morning. The point of all of that, the point of spirituality, is to lead a spiritual life, to be a spiritual person, that to move through every moment, because we only have the present moment. So if you were like, well, I was spiritual this morning and I'm gonna watch my video tonight, but that whole gap during the day, you just come out of your thinking mind, you're really missing the point. You're really missing the joy that you can feel when you stay in your lane, when you let go of what other people are thinking, when you remind yourself that we are all one and we are all the same and we are not separate. There is no separation, just like me. You are just like me. I am just like you. And that goes for every single person that you encounter. Always. We are in different incarnations. We are having different journeys. So that is where the staying in your lane comes in. But remember that we are all cut from the same cloth, that same divine cloth. There is only one energy, there is only one cloth that creates us all. And bringing your spirituality throughout your day helps you to truly live that life. And that is where the magic happens. That is where the peace is. That is where the joy is. It's not having a frustrating day and then, releasing it at night. It is having that frustrating day and chopping it up with the joy, chopping it up with the truth and with that oneness and with those mindful moments that will help you process that day in the moment. So it is easier if we process things in the moment and that we don't harbor them and have to deal with them later. Because when we have to deal with things later, they rear their ugly heads because things don't want to be dealt with later. No, you know what I mean? If you ask someone a question, you're like, and someone responds like, I'm going to deal with you later. How do you feel? You don't feel very good. And emotions are the same way. Process it in the moment by taking those few deep breaths, by going back to your heart, remembering who you are. You are divine. You are whole, worthy, and complete because you are a divine being. And never forget that. Always remember that. Keep that in your mind. Keep that in your heart. Always. So that is our message for today. As I move through, it's Friday today. As I move through Friday, I am, going to ask and set the intention that I bring my spirituality through every single moment of today. And let's see what happens. Thank you so much for watching, my friend, and I will see you soon.